Hello, everybody. This is Patrick and Bryson with Stone Security. Today's Milestone Webisode will focus on understanding view groups within C code. Go ahead, Bryson.
Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about view groups for the smart client and how to manage them, what they do, the purpose behind them, and kind of just understanding them. So inside your management client, you can find the view groups if you scroll down here under client and view groups. And this is where you'll see these view groups right here. View groups kind of correlate with permissions into the system. So as a demonstration here, I have these different security roles in my system right now. If I were to create a new role, we'll just call this one test for right now. You'll see this new role is created right here. What happens automatically every time I create a new role is a view group is created. And the reason is because view groups technically are a way to kind of separate out the permissions for camera views so that you don't have a camera that has cameras that necessarily they don't have access to. So this works out really well if you have multiple sites or you have users that have different permissions and stuff, and instead of them just getting a message saying that they don't have access to the camera, you can essentially build out their views in a completely separate view group that only has the camera views and the cameras that they have permissions to. So and how you kind of define all that is through the view groups and through the smart client build out. So as we kind of go through here, I'll show out it's like, so our permissions. So on this test user for this example, I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple of cameras here. We'll give it access to a couple locations here. So let's say we just give it our Salt Lake office. We don't want it to see any of the other offices here. And we'll just expect that it just read and view live right there. So now inside of my smart client, what I'll have here is I'll have these view groups right here on the side, and you'll see here's my new test one right here. So any cameras that I put inside of here, this is what that permission group is going to see. So I'm going to go ahead and go into setup mode. I'm going to create a new view and a new group. Let's just come in here and we'll make some cameras right here. And this will separate out these cameras from other groups right here. So as the user logs in, they won't see these other users. They will only see, they won't see those other view groups. They'll only see the ones that we gave them access to. So with SLC ones here, so we can go ahead and we can throw in, I'm just going to throw in a random couple cameras. So go ahead and throw those into there. Now, jumping back over to our management client here. So these are the cameras they have access to, and we'll make sure that they can see that view group. So come here to view groups on the bottom bar right here, and we'll go and make sure they can do read and operate. The difference permissions here, read is the ability to be able to see it, operate is the ability for them to be able to push that view out and operate it and kind of use it. Edit will allow them to edit the views. So any views in there, they can create them and edit them. And delete will give them the full rights to the everything, so they can actually delete views inside of that view group as well. So if you, depending on the permissions that you want to give, depends on the type of permissions that, or if that makes sense. But yeah. So going over to users here, I'm going to build out just a basic user really quick. Go ahead and just call it test for right now. Of course, it doesn't meet the complexity requirements. It's always fun. Man, I'm not typing well. This is always embarrassing.
Where often do you mostly see this view group, being implemented? Where do you see this most often?
So the place you're going to see it the most often is when you're essentially separating out permissions. So I see it used heavily everywhere, really. It is the potential behind it. But if you have multiple sites, that's a really good place for it, is essentially you can break out each site into their own view group and then make sure that your role has access to that certain view group as well. So then they don't even see the camera views that are built out. So we'll use that test user that I built here, and I'll get logged in here. So now you're going to see here on the left-hand side, the only views that I have access to is this test folder here and this view group that I created right here. I don't see any of those other folders from here. These are the only ones that I have access to. Under my cameras here, I can see all the different folders, but the only ones I'll be able to see is the cameras I have access to, which is the SLC one. If you remember, those are the cameras I gave access to. So because I have operate rights, I can drag cameras, throw it on top, and edit this view kind of on the fly right there because I'm able to operate it. So that's pretty much view groups right there for you and the reasons to have them and kind of how to set them up and get them going.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Bryson. If anyone obviously has any questions about this, email our support team, support@stonesecurity.net. Thank you.